There's a Brofist! And another one, and bang! That's the connection I feel to you guys. Ching! An announcement. There will be a date being announced for PreachCon or PGC 2013. Or whatever it will be finally titled at. There'll be a little website popping up soon. It's going to be in June. It's going to be in England. It's going to be in Manchester. There you go. You can come and you can see us live. And we'll have a show. And we'll talk to you guys. And we'll interact. And we'll be friends. And all that kind of stuff. We're going to be good buddies. All that kind of stuff is going to be happening. It's going to be happening. I've decided to try it. Now, what I'm going to do is there'll be a little mini website popping up, which will be giving you details of what is going to be happening, and things to do, and things to see, and all that kind of good stuff. And, you know, pre-booking your tickets and shit like that to make sure you can go. We're going to be taking around 200 people. 200 people, not many. Around 10% of the player base, of the subscriber base, plus friends, whoever you come up with, and all that kind of good stuff. So we're giving you plenty of notice. You've got about 7-8 months to prepare. Hopefully it's going to be good. I've never done a live show. Like, that's scary. That is really, really scary. Is a live show with actual people there. Instantaneous feedback. That could be scary. What if, like, I freeze up and I'm, like, terrible? You know what I mean? What if I'm absolutely fucking horrible? It could happen. We'll have to bring laugh tracks and stuff so we can play stuff over it. But I think it'll be pretty cool. I've got some good ideas for it. Ideas flowing through my head. I've got about, I would say on average, I have something like 9 projects going on right now. It's a very crazy time for me. Tonight I'm doing nothing. I just can't do any more. I'm exhausted. I'm absolutely wiped out. I was literally today, I was looking at the people who are talking to me on Skype, like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, I'm fine. It's like Sylvester Stallone on the mic. What the hell is going on? Like, oh, no. So this evening I'm going to be totally chilled and relaxed and probably watch television or something equally as retarded. Or maybe I'll just watch some streaming of somebody, some sort of StarCraft 2 maybe. That would be awesome to nerd out. I kind of want to play a board game. I haven't played a board game in ages, you know? I want to crack on with some Hungry Hippos or some Monopnaps or something along those lines. So it should be pretty cool. So if you're interested in meeting me, Ghosty, Emma, Ben, people are suggesting they want to see Ben, then we will, that's going to happen. We might be able to bring Ben, maybe, and just have a generally good time. We're also going to be, I'm going to release little snippets of information about what we will be doing at the show. But we're going to put a date up. We've just got to confirm the actual date with the place that we can have it. And we have to sort of pay a deposit. And this kind of shit. I've never organised an event before, so I don't know. Should be pretty cool. Next bit of news. There's no good gaming news today. Gaming news is really slow recently. Really slow. It's like just waiting for big AAA titles. Boring. We're looking for another thing to take the world by storm, I think. Everyone's pretty generally happy. And everyone's kind of busy and getting on with their own things, gaming-wise. Even around the world, everyone's just sort of chilled and relaxed. And they're kind of waiting for new stuff to come. StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm's not here yet. Diablo 3 fucking sucks. And just generally waiting for cool games to come around and be played on. And of course, people who are enjoying Mr. Pandaria are happily enjoying Mr. Pandaria, which is cool. People have suggested, Preacher, you're always saying go to the preachgaming.com website and try and get people to play together. So ballers from around the world who are sick of elitists and sick of morons can sort of play together there, connect through Steam and things like that. Why haven't you got your own gaming servers? Just something that totally skipped me by. Servers for games like DayZ, Minecraft, things like that. Things that we can log into and play with you guys in a relatively safe and controlled environment without you trolling us too hard. Do you want that? Do you want servers that are Preach Gaming servers where we can just set these servers up and the people who join them are people of the Preach Gaming community? And you can go and play together there, and you can kind of meet people and play with people who you see in the chat all the time, and you see the YouTube comments, and you want to play together. And of course, us, whenever we get a chance, we drop in and play. Members like, you know, Genji and Untitled and stuff, they play a lot more than we and Ghost tend to play. Ghost plays more than I do. But to get into those guys and just try different games out together, troll us, obviously, and all that kind of stuff. TF2 servers, yes, defo, yes. Okay, we'll look into that. Yeah, a PG Minecraft server. I'm kind of interested in setting up a Minecraft server. Genji keeps going, you should play Minecraft. You should play Minecraft. I'm like, I don't want to play Minecraft. I don't want to play it. Untrill's like, we should play Minecraft. I want to play Minecraft. I don't want to play it because I think I would enjoy it a lot. and that would be a little bit scary and probably interfere with my workload. But I'm relatively happy to have a server set up where I can drop in and kind of visit what you guys have created in the world. That's the great thing about it. You can have a whole world and you guys can do whatever you want. You can have Baller City. Imagine Baller City. Shit, that just turned me on even more. We'll have to set up a Minecraft server. I'll get Genji cracking on setting a Minecraft server up, and we'll get it set up, and there'll be I'll set something up on a website. Another project to add to the list. We'll get something set up. I'd love to see Baller City. That would be awesome. Shit me, that would be awesome. And then I could just get Ghost to Nova Bomb the crap out of it. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool, just to get Ghosty to rock and roll and blow the shit out of it. There's loads of things we could do, variations of things. Ultimately, we're going to be a World of Warcraft channel for a long time. That's going to be the way it is. That's going to be the way it is. But we're also going to be introducing other games. One question I wanted to answer is, people started sending me emails like, you're always talking about bringing guys on board. Ghost, Untitled, maybe Genji. Bringing these guys into the fold. Why? What will they do? Well, that is an awesome, awesome question. And probably even those guys don't really know what that would entail. For me, it's about using, or not exploiting, but their ability to be really entertaining. I tend to not have many, what I would call close friends. Close friends for me are people who I just always want to be around because they are awesome, right? These are just awesome people who I just want to be around all the time. That is very rare for me because I don't tolerate assholes. I really don't. I don't have any interest. Most of the people I meet in my daily life, I'm like, oh yeah, you're okay, but I don't want to spend any time with you. I could spend 2-3 weeks with Ghosty and be fine. Same with Genji, same with anyone else. And they have, like I suppose I do, not every daily is as awesome as the last. Oh, I just want to say, Friday, make sure you tune in on Friday for the live show, for the story time, the subscriber story time. I have the juiciest stories in history for Friday. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be a hilarious Friday, so look forward to that. I am. So make sure you tune in live on Friday, because I'm going to just be picking names out of the chat to involve in the story and make it more fantastic. But each has their own special thing, especially Ghosty, who's my best friend for probably nearly 20 years now. That's really scary. Maybe slightly less, like 17 years, something like that. You'll probably fill us in. And then... and then... I get these guys to produce things for you as well, because they just don't have time to do it now. Like, I'm always amazed. Like, I work really, really, really stupidly hard to try and get the channels solid and base and really nice and stuff. And then to see guys come in and spend time with us, and then Ghosty put in every effort he can while having a daughter and working all day is awesome. But we get probably 1% out of Ghost of what is capable of producing. So that's the kind of stuff I want to get out for you, because the channel would be like, woo! Super awesome. Just keep you guys entertained. That has always been me and Ghost's mission. That's why we were into wrestling. We weren't into wrestling because I wanted to be The Rock, right? Or anything like that. We'd love to entertain people. We would spend probably 30, 40 hours discussing a move on how to make that move look better. For nobody. Nobody would even fucking watch it. Do you know one of the best things ever while we were backyard wrestlers for that brief period of time? I really don't recommend it. We almost had a guy lose a tooth and all sorts of shit. Don't recommend it at all. Was that next door, our neighbour had a young child of about 11 or 12 years old. He would come to our fence, stand on a stool for like 4 hours and just watch like that. Oh, and it was the best thing ever. That was our audience. That was amazing to us. And we would do a better show just if this 12-year-old kid who we'd never spoke to, never seen, would just come and stand on this thing and just watch over the fence. We loved that. It's the best thing ever. It doesn't matter what we're doing. We just want to make something cool that you guys enjoy. So that's what it's all about. Are you not entertained? Well, we do. We want to entertain you as best as possible. So we'll work on a Minecraft server ASAP. Is DayZ dying out? I guess it is. I'll put a topic on the forums, on the preachgaming.com forums. And another thing is Mr. Genji himself is going to be taking over the website, essentially. He's nervous as shit because he's not a web designer or anything like that. So if the website goes tits up at some point, blame Genji. It's his fucking fault. Oh, Ben's barking now. It's awesome. I knew it. We can't get through daily. He hasn't barked all day. One moment. I thought I could even leave the window open. How amazing would that have been? No. Wrong. Wrong. Ugh. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Oh, Benjamin. Why are you troll during the daily? That is the question. That is the question. Why troll during the daily? So, we're all talking about Genji's going to be taking over the website. I know a lot of you applied to do this kind of stuff, but I trust Genji so implicitly, it'd be stupid of me not to give him the chance. So he's going to be doing that for us. Ooh, yeah. So if it goes wrong, I apologise, but I'm sure it's fine. It's not difficult to do, really. It's like web design is like, oh, yeah, it's $5 grand and 6 months to do that project. We got told that the online shop that we're opening for you guys is like a major, major project by a web designer. It's like, dude, you want an online store? That's a couple of £1,000 worth of work. Like, for real. Untitled bashed it out in a night. Do you know what I mean? Untitled bashed it out in an evening. He was like, yeah, it's done. And we were like, are you serious? We were in a meeting with the merchandising guy, and we were talking about little specifics like packaging. We care about the stupidest things. Like, Emma's big conversation was, how will it look when it arrives with people? Like, if they ordered a t-shirt, how will it look? And he's like, well, you know, it'd be in a packet. I was like, no, can't be in a packet. Can we do this? Can we do that? Just so it looks awesome. We based a lot of these things about Razer. If you ever see my Razer reviews, it's like part of the whole Razer experience is just the packaging. It like comes in an awesome packaging, and the packaging is part of the experience. I want that. Apple knows that as well. Apple's packaging is also part of their experience. So how can we include that at low cost, obviously? We can't spend half the cost of the product on the packaging, but we've thought of ways of doing that, and it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be pretty cool. So that's what we've always wanted to have, is that touch extra. Going that extra little bit means a lot. It really means a lot. So Genji's going to be doing some website stuff for us. So the website is going to become much more active. I can only apologise of how little I'm involved on the website at the moment. The other guys just check in pretty much 3-4 times a day. I am the worst for it, but I'm just so busy. I am doing all the content myself. On the Holy Priest gameplay video, I even played that video before the daily so people could see it. YouTube is kind of having a heart attack right now with good quality videos. Like, people who uploading 720p or low sized 1080p videos are having a good time. Good sized 1080p high quality videos, they're having a real problem with. There's some bug and it just keeps failing the upload. I tried it 3 times last night. I've tried it twice today. It will go up eventually, but I just keep retrying it. So that video is coming as well. Okay. I had something else to say. Oh, yeah. Let me check. Let me check this. 1 second. Hopefully it's super fast. Open. Okay. I have just literally right now, got confirmation, thanks to Mr. Delore and Genji, my UI is pretty much ready for download. He's just sent me a screenshot that he's set up on the screen, and it's working. Alright? So my UI is going to be up for download. I will try and get it up tonight, but it's Untrill who's going to be doing it. So if it might be tomorrow, might be Friday. That would be the day after. But the UI it works, okay? It works. Delore was playing with it last night. He managed to get it working. It'll be on preachgaming.com. My UI is ready. It looks good. Genji's just sent it me. It took him 2 minutes to install it, so it looks like it's working okay. So the UI will be up and ready for download. Okay, guys? So I will do an instructional video. Last thing I want to announce is when the store goes up, we have an awesome thing that Untrill has set up, is where you can install a YouTube video on the product, like next to it. Now, I kind of figured through 3 ways of doing this. Me and Ghost doing silly videos of the products. This is going to be the new hoodies, by the way. This is a brand new one. We've got some other stuff that's... all I'm saying is watch the web show on Saturday, alright? Watch the web show on Saturday. I kind of want you guys to do it and review it. You know what I mean? Obviously not go, oh, this is the worst thing in the universe. Like, I've never seen anything as bad as it. But if we could put you guys on there, so whoever gets the products can send us a little webcam video or something. We'll do a little montage of you guys opening it, the whole thing. And I think that's better than anything for encouraging people to enjoy the products. If you guys like it and you're the guys who bought it, oh, that's better, right? That should be good news. Okay, I think that's all my announcements done. That was a lot of announcements, wasn't it? It was like 15 minutes of announcements. Nothing fun happened to me today, so there we go. Let's move on to the WoW topics of today. I have 2 WoW topics of today. The first one is your coins, your gold coins of give extra loot. When I first heard of this, wasn't till after Mr. Pandaria was out, and it was Blubzar, in fact, who was explaining all this stuff to me. You get these coins, and you can roll for extra loot. The rage that we knew was coming, right? This is the stupidest fucking idea I have ever heard in my life. And I said this at the time. It was my instant reaction. It's like, yeah, but how much extra chance at loot does it give you? Not a lot. It's like point. It's something like, it depends on the boss to boss basis, so I'm not going to stick a number on it. But loads and loads of people have used all their coins and not got an item. And it takes a lot of dailies to get those coins, doesn't it? You can't include something in a game like World of Warcraft, which has an age rating as low as it does. We forget how young the age rating is for World of Warcraft, right? It's kids gaming up, right? That says this will give you a chance at extra loot. And the chance isn't great. Because you know what? It's just more frustration than ever before. Not having your item drop is frustrating enough. Especially if you've killed the boss multiple times. It's like, I just don't seem to be getting any loot. We've all been there where we just don't get any loot for ages and ages. And then eventually we do. It all evens out in the end. But we are with people on the WoW forums like, oh my god, this item never dropped. Is it bugged? It must be bugged. I've killed this boss 18 times and not seen this loot. And someone goes, ha ha, random loot is random. Yeah, thanks for that. It's really helpful information. Yeah, but random loot is random. Random loot is random. And it's like, that's just like the cleverest response in the universe, right? You just got, the standard response should be something like, yeah, you're just really unlucky. Just don't whine about it because we're all in the same position as you are. We're all in the same boat. But then they go, oh, what we'll do is we'll increase the chance. Again, on paper, kind of sounds like a good idea. Except, somebody should have gone, do you not think people will just get really, really annoyed when now they're getting fucked over twice? They're getting not only fucked over because the item didn't drop in the first place, but now they're getting screwed over and they're having to put effort into getting screwed over. What? That's not fair. That is not fair. That sucks. That is terrible. That is really bad, especially as the majority of people are like using these coins in looking for raid. I very, very rarely stumble into the nightmare and the fresh hell that is the WoW forums, the official WoW forums. But every now and again I check in there just to see what the current community consensus is on things. I get sort of a gut feeling on what is a problem in the game right now. And so much of it were the Elder Coins of Charm, whatever the fuck they're called. The gold coins, the loot coins. And there were so many threads. Like, I've used loads of them and just not got anything. This is ridiculous. You know how many dailies I did? How many tedious, boring-ass dailies I did for this? Really? And I still haven't got anything from it. That is really, it's not only getting kicked in the teeth, but that's somebody taking a piss right on your face after you've done it. It is. It really is. I'm sure we would all be in the agreement that, yeah, it's a good idea. Sometimes we just don't get the item that drops. Okay. But let's just make the coins a lot more valuable and maybe more difficult to get and maybe involve some sort of reasonably difficult quest. I don't see that these things are needed in LFR or the SHA. I don't think they should be usable there. I would like to see these coins move to normal mode at best. At worst, I'd say. Normal mode raids at worst. And take several weeks to gather one coin. And maybe involve some sort of raid-wide thing in order to activate them. Make them a bit of a journey, a bit of an interesting thing. That increases the value, makes them more precious. And it allows you to probably get a guaranteed item. In that case, it takes you weeks to say, okay, I farmed these bosses plenty of times. This item just isn't dropping. Now I can get it, okay? Now I'm kind of guaranteed to get it because I've done all this work to get it, and I'm not going to be throwing my coins at looking for raid, which you shouldn't be, the SHA, things like that. These crappy bosses that you'll do every week without fail on your own. You know, you can do these things on your own. You don't need a guild or anything like that. And then getting in there and just not getting anything. 28 gold. Wow, really? 28 gold for all that effort? It's just insanity. Absolute crackers. And no, don't not get more. More? More? That would be terrible. More? Vanish just pointed out there, raid quests like in ICC. If you kill this boss, then that's part of your quest to get your gold coin. Awesome. Challenge modes are a good way of encouraging it. I think the challenge mode system needs more reward. It does. It needs more reward than penis envy, which is all it is now. It's transmog gear and penis envy. If the challenge mode was, okay, you have all these materials, cool, now you need to complete a challenge mode and at least silver. That promotes some effort, puts some value into it. And then you can, if you want to use it in looking for raid, fine, go ahead, whatever. But it adds a value to it. So instead of people saying, well, I can get 3 a week, I'm going to use 3 this time, oh, well, you know, didn't get it. And some people raging because they've got loads of coins and they've used them all and haven't got anything, is that it takes a few weeks to gather, you get this coin, and you are guaranteed a piece of loot. I don't think anybody will have a problem with that. I really don't. I really don't think anybody will have a problem with that. And ultimately, if it's something like, yeah, but what about last bosses where they have mega weapons? Well, yeah, but those guys are killing that boss. Their chance to get it is already there. It's already in existence. So you've nothing to worry about either. They're getting it anyway. It's not their fault. You've got to think about it from the perspective of the player. They've killed a guild, they're killing that last boss, and their item just never drops. It sucks. It's terrible. How many people are waiting for things like Heroic Gurthalak, and everybody who's ever killed Heroic Madness of Deathwing has it, and is always running around with it? That's more frustrating than ever. It really is. I would like to see an interaction between that. I think it'd be a much better system instead of exposing a vast majority of the player base. This is the problem. You can't introduce something that even offers extra loot because nobody will read beyond that. They will just see the words, this gives you extra loot. And that's it. That's all they're going to see. It's like, oh my god, extra loot. What? Fuck me. And then they roll it. It's like 28 gold. Like, what? What? Most people don't read the tooltips on their own fucking classes. They don't know what their own stuff does. That's just the way of the game. And if you have something that says, this gives you a chance at extra loot, they ignore the chance bit and they will read, this gives me extra loot. No, it says it gives you a chance at extra loot. No, 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 no. I've read it. It says it gives me extra loot. What the hell is going on here? Every looking for raid I did on the healers and stuff for the guys this week was constant moan about them elder charms. It almost assuages the idea of the looking for raid system. The loot system is almost secondary. People believe the loot system is using your gold coins. Like they accept they will not get any items unless they use a gold coin. Then that's the insult. That's not how it should be. That's not what the intention is here. This intention is good. Some items just never drop. That happens. The coin should give you a chance at getting that item. Instead of being something spammable. Which it almost is. It's almost spammable. It's too easy to acquire. It has far too little value. Dailies are the only thing that result in getting a coin. Just dailies. That's a terrible idea. That's too easy. Let's mix it up a bit. Let's get people doing and promoting things like challenge modes. A lot of people right now are turned off by challenge modes. This is the other thing I noticed. They look too difficult. The rewards are too small. Not everybody gives a crap about that transmog gear. People then show the transmog gear. You could see it on MMO Champion and they're like, well, it's not very good anyway. Why would I do the challenge mode? I don't understand why I would bother doing it. And in fact, you can see the results are posted on how many guilds have done even bronze. It isn't that many. It is not that many groups that are attempting the challenge mode. So far, it's a bit of a failed effort. Let's promote it in some way. Let's force people to go and try it. To break that, oh, I don't want to do challenge modes. It feels kind of hard. It looks kind of difficult. I don't know if I'm good enough. But you want the coin, right? Yeah, you want the coin. It's now a part of your journey is to venture into challenge modes and fail and succeed and get better. Much better in my eyes. That incentive, that carrot. Yeah, let's go challenge modes. Why? I don't care about transmog gear. I couldn't give a crap. The only reason I even wanted to try challenge modes was essentially to show you guys it. And then when I was like, I just can't be bothered. I'm not that interested in it whatsoever. It's a 5-man heroic that's harder, but doesn't reward much else. It's like, well, I'm not even that bothered, to be honest. I couldn't give a shit. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest. I don't even like normal heroics, let alone the same heroic dropping the same loot that's harder, that gives me a fictional pixelated badge. That doesn't appeal to a guy like me. It really doesn't. That's no sense of accomplishment. It's you got a gold badge. Oh, did I? Who's your daddy? I don't know. For me, it just doesn't appeal to everybody. I would like to see people being pushed towards this kind of content. Instead of Mr. Pandaria Heroics going down in history as being traditionally easy, and then Blizzard having that smug comeback. Did you try challenge modes? Did you? And you're like, well, no, because it was a waste of my time. I don't care about transmog gear. Oh, then how can you say they were easy if you didn't try challenge modes? So as soon as some guys say, guys, LFR is too easy, you haven't tried heroic mode. I know, I wanted to do LFR, I'm a more casual player, I can't raid in a guild, but it feels too easy still. No, you didn't try heroic mode. And the players are like that too. I hate that smuggy comeback. Ghosty hates Stop saying it. I don't think Blizzard and Sky is Blizzard fucked up a little bit in Miss Pandaria. They haven't. They haven't quite got it right yet, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. I think challenge modes are probably pretty cool to enhance the skill of the player base. Makes people play a little bit better, try a little bit harder. That's always a good thing, is to try a little bit harder, to be just that little bit better. Let's give them an incentive to get there. Transmog gear just isn't enough. It's not enough because it doesn't appeal to enough people. If we were just to change the coin system so you could get 1 coin per month, that would essentially guarantee the drop, if not guarantee a drop from a specific boss, which is always a nice reward, a payoff when you get that shiny item. And we just said, okay, in order to formulate this, you need to prove your worth, that you are deserving of receiving an item of epic quality. You must venture into challenge mode and complete it at a bronze level, which is just to get through the dungeon. I think that's cool. And it will promote people pugging, promote people going, hey, does anybody want to do challenge modes? Instead of just queuing for fucking dungeon. Let's not hope, let's hope to God we don't see looking for dungeon challenge mode come in, because that will be the most horrific mess ever. That would be worse than a cake pie full of a Playboy mansion. That will be really bad. That would be really bad. Quick swiggle. Oh yeah. Okay. Second topic for today. I also leave your YouTube comments below, obviously, about my suggestion and your own suggestion. That's what I would like to see. Monk re-rollers. Quick survey in the chat. How many people re-rolled a monk for Mr. Pandaria? Side note, did you re-roll because you believed they would be very overpowered and therefore probably get used a lot in raids? Let's hope that doesn't continue. And it's going to continue. Oh. Yeah. Awesome. So, monk re-rollers. There is an issue that has arisen which has caused a lot of people to be pissed off. And that is that windwalkers and even monk tanks aren't super great. Certainly not overpowered. And a lot of people who have re-rolled, Mistweavers are mega overpowered, okay? Mistweavers are mega powerful. I'm not going to say overpowered because maybe the rest of the healers will be buffed to their level. Let's just call them powerful for now. But monk tanks and windwalker monks are just not that powerful. They're not. In fact, most of the DPS classes and tank classes are better in the situations we currently have in Mr. Pandaria. What we have seen is a lot of people roll a monk and then drop it for their old main. This is not cool when you've just released this class into the game, especially the race of the panda. Most people are panda monks. Not everybody, but most people. So you've re-rolled, you've been excited, you liked the look of the Brewmaster on beta perhaps. Brewmasters were looking really solid on beta. I was tanking with Just Wait from Method, and it was me on my Prot Warrior and him on his Brewmaster Monk. He shit on me in terms of cooldowns. It was ridiculous. I was like, this is obviously overpowered. He's like, oh, I can avert harm everything that goes on here. It's no problem. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You've got like a 1 minute cooldown which just stops all raid damage. He's like, yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm like, well, fuck this then. I can't do that. That's just super powerful. Why bring a Prot Warrior if you can do that? And then it gets rebalanced. In most of the videos I've seen and checking some World of Logs, Brewmaster Monks are starting to go like this. DKs, Paladins, starting to go like this. Prot Warriors are even making a nice steady plateau, which is fucking awesome. I like to see the Prot Warrior just going, we're not super awesome, we ain't shit either, son. We're always there, we're always ready to go, and you give us a situation, we handle it. Power of the Warrior. But people re-rolling, excited, expectant of the Monk class, especially basing it on probably the DK. DKs, hugely overpowered at the start of Wrath of the Lich King. They were hugely powerful. The DKs we had in our raid, who capped in the first week and raided with us in the first Nax 25 run, dominated the DPS. Absolutely dominated the DPS. Ghost was a blood DK. I was a tank at the same time. I was a feral druid. We had Erebus, as I said, one of the best tanks I have ever played with. When it came to some of the bosses in Ulduar, Ghosty was tanking. We couldn't touch him. He was miles ahead of us in terms of being able to survive those fights. He was light years beyond our capability. It was like, Ghosty's got to tank it. We cannot do this boss unless Ghosty tanks it. It's always nice for the big Ghosty. And it's a scary situation when that happens. We didn't like it. Ultimately, DKs and stuff balanced out and maybe were a little bit weak. DK DPS, always fantastic. I was talking to a chap yesterday day before in the gym. My nephew, who's recently switched over to a DK. And he was like, you know what? DKs are just always good. Yes. Yes, they are. If anybody really, really wants my opinion and you're a melee class who's looking to reroll, I always suggest a DK. And the reason for that, I'm talking about high level players, not people who are just like, this class isn't #1 DPS anymore. What should I re-roll to? I want to be flavor of the month. I'm talking about serious players who are looking for something to live with and be happy with. I always suggest DKs because DKs are a wondrous design. A wondrous design. It really baffles my head how they could wrap their head around making it balanced and still so nice. I always believe DKs are one of the strongest overall classes in the history of the game. There has been no point where a DK is not worth having and will always hold its own. Will always be probably not the top DPS, but quite high. Never at the bottom of the DPS, and always capable of handling any situation. I love the DK, beautiful class. That is why I re-rolled to it for Darkstorm. They're like, what do you want to play? I was like, DK. Why? Because you will always benefit from having me in the raid. And I hate, from my personal preferences, I hate being in the raid and just being a replaceable spot. Like, somebody else can do my job better. I hate that. I detest it. I really, really hate that. I hate being in a raid and it's like, somebody else could just do my job and probably better because of their class. DKs, for me, have never fallen into that trap. It's always like, a DK could handle this. You know what would be nice here? A DK. And if that situation doesn't come up, I'm still doing really tremendous DPS and helping in various different ways. And I love that about the class. It always attracts me to a DK. Monks, however, people based re-rolling the monk on the idea that monks will be mad overpowered because DKs were. How can they balance them properly in just a few weeks of beta? How can that happen? Windwalk, I don't think they've got any of the specs correct. But instead of having 3 overpowered specs, we potentially have 1 overpowered specs and 2 pretty damn average specs. Pretty damn average that don't bring much, if anything, bonus towards the raid. That's scary and frustrating and annoying and very, very, very poor. I would have liked to see monks being slightly more powerful than probably most of the classes, especially at launch. Sounds awful, doesn't it? Sounds terrible, but it encourages people to play them. What we have now is only a few weeks into Mists of Pandaria. Not many people are re-rolling monks for raid stuff and PvE stuff, and certainly not for PvP, because of this situation. They're just not going to do it. So they're going to be a hugely underrepresented class. Suddenly they get buffed and there are no monks around to fill these spots, which is a little bit scary. I was following the statistics and monks were like, hey, oh fuck. However, there is a very good redeeming factor of this, which Just Wait reminded me of when I was talking to him on Skype a week or so ago. A very brief conversation. They are amazingly fun to play, which is a crying fucking shame. They are amazingly fun to play. And kind of made me reminisce about the Holy Priest from yesterday. Amazing fun to play. I just can't get enough out of it. And that scares me. So I want to see your opinions, really. I want to see the guys come out and say, you know what? I love this class. And the people who are playing monks, even my friends, Ghosty and the people in the top guilds, love it. Such a fun, such a nice designed class. Really enjoyable, works nicely together. I think Windwalker needs some tweaking still. I still don't enjoy that spec particularly. But Brewmaster is a lot of fun. Mistweaver is fantastic fun. And kicks out ridiculous amounts of healing. So you win-win there, right? But Brewmaster, it's so much fun. It's a greatly fun spec. Lots of fun. It's got its own character. It's very unique, which is hard to do with tanking, is to be unique. Because you've all seen what's happened with paladins, warriors, bears. They're all sort of mixing together to be the same fucking class, essentially. And that's never fun. Brewmaster's completely different style. Stagger damage on its own. It's like it's staggered damage. You're creating a dot on yourself, and now you can manage that dot. That's a really lovely mechanic. It's beautiful. The class is great to play. A lot of fun. I enjoyed leveling my monk. I think I've got into about 40 or something. I'm playing him in like the odd 10 minutes I have free during the day. And just doing maybe a dungeon. But having great fun doing it. And all the people playing monks as mains really enjoy it. They're just not kicking out enough to support their role. And ultimately, if you're in any sort of progression, people are dropping them and going back to the old mains, switching back to their old tanks, switching back to their old DPSs because they're just better and more useful. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? That's what I want to know, is how are you guys feeling about that? I know there's a huge combination of people who watch my channel, from high-level players to low-level players. Have you re-rolled a monk? What were your expectations of the monk is what I want to know. We want to talk about it tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the last sort of in-depth, wowish gaming discussion for the week. And Friday's, of course, fun day. Super fun day. I want to know what you feel about it. I genuinely want to know. It's important to know, because we don't want the monk and the panda, in essence, to disappear because of tweaking issues. It's better to be overpowered at first and balanced later, to encourage a raid mix and a mix of people across the realm. That is very much important. Okay. I'm going to start taking questions in a sec for the next 10 minutes or so. So get your questions ready in the chat. I will take them shortly. I just want to say, first of all, a big thank you to all the guys who asked if they could help with my annotations and stuff and the tags that need updating on my YouTube channel. I haven't seen anybody yet who I feel comfortable picking. For no other reason than I don't feel as a friendly connection yet, like somebody I could trust with my account details. I'm sure all the people who replied have no bad intentions, but for my own personal well-being, this is my business after all, I just haven't seen anybody yet whose name stands out for me. So thank you very much for that. But I'm still looking for somebody to do that. And for those of you who donated yesterday for our new camera, you guys are far too fucking generous. I didn't ask for donations or anything, but you guys did. Awesome. So we're on our way. We're building up our tally to get a camera that doesn't suck balls. And we can use outside of this room, more importantly. That's super awesome. Okay. I wanted to go on with... I like the fact that a lot of people send me emails that say, "Hi, preach with a capital, capital B." Thank you very much for that. Where's the email I wanted to talk about? It was a follow-up to one of the things we had on Friday, so it's always a nice teaser. There it is. I like getting thank you guys after if I read your daily, read out your stuff. It was all pretty cool. Right, there it is. It was called "Thanks, Preach," but another issue has arisen. It was beautiful. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so this was the guy. I think this is an important one, and it's not a drama story as such. This was a story about a guy who got replaced for the first time. So if you follow the daily on a regular basis, or you watch them in the playlists on YouTube or whatever it is, we had a Shadow Priest earlier last week who was replaced for the first time. He was a fantastic warlock during the previous Cataclysm expansion, and now he found himself on a Shadow Priest and was replaced. After recently playing the Shadow Priest, I can say their single target DPS output is not fantastic at all. It really isn't. So it isn't a slight issue with the class. That is something to bear in mind. I checked some World of Logs. On multi-dotting fights, they're okay. Okay. Single target, they're not the best. Well, that's just where the class is right now. Not your fault, right? So we said, fire back. Come back and kick some ass. Don't let it get you down. Failure is a good thing. Failure teaches you something, right? Failure is always helpful in some fashion. Repeated failure on the same thing is bad. But failing once and never doing it again is good. That's okay. That's all right. So, he said last week he gave me some advice about my Shadow Priest, where I was complaining about not getting good sleep and being replaced. Remember, this is the first time someone lost sleep over their performance, which is something that happens. I lose sleep over various things. I took your advice, revisited the fights in my head, and read through World of Logs like it was no tomorrow. After changing around talents, glyphs, and fully gemming, enchanting, reforging, I was finally able to keep up with the rest of the group and even topped meters on Garajal. So for that, I'm forever grateful. Cheers, mate. Point proven! Oh! Awesome sauce! Come back with a fucking vengeance. That's how a baller rolls. Don't be that guy who's like, "You replaced me, I'm leaving the guild. If I haven't got my raid spot, I'm not playing." Never be that guy. That's not what a baller does. You get replaced, you go, "Fuck. Why did I get replaced? I'm a good player. I believe in myself. Let's go through this." And we said, didn't we? Run through the fights in your mind. You will know the fights inside out. You were there. You tried them. How could you increase your DPS? How does your class work? Remember the 3 stages doing awesome DPS. Understand your class. Understand the boss. How do they work together? You will be in the top world DPS if you follow those 3 simple steps. Very, very easy. Simplify your goals. How does my class work? How does this fight work? How can I put those together to do awesome sauce? Cool. So, our Shadow Priest went away, he thought about it, he replayed the fights in his mind. How does his class work? How can he improve? And started topping meters, which is totally kick-ass. That is awesome to read. GGU, buddy, GGU. Now to the next issue. I've become quite active in my guild by contributing on guild forums with boss guide videos and being very active on TeamSpeak. Be very careful about being that guy, because people rely on that guy, and when you can't be asked doing it, people moan. Although you're doing it for free as a service, be very careful about being that guy. Just understand, right? I'm just going to put it out there. Just going to put it out there. Be careful being that guy. I've been that guy. And you know what's worse? When you are that guy and you're the guy who's creating these topics and stuff and you get something wrong or something changes and people go, "You're so fucking stupid. That's not how the fight works. God." And it's like, yeah, but I tried my best. It was better than what you did, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that, you dumb. It's like, oh, okay, thank you very much for that. Fuck you. I'm not doing it again. Now to my next issue. I've been running TeamSpeak, grind boss taxes and general banter. We just downed the last boss of Mogashun Raid yesterday, but we had to pug 3 people, so we didn't get the guild achievement for this. Oh, dude, really? That sucks. That's terrible. I talked to the GM today and suggested we recruit more people and try to get a 13 to 14 person roster to make sure we don't waste valuable raid time spamming Stormwind for pugs. I think even more than that. I think the ideal number of people in a guild for a 10-man is around 16. Okay? It's 16 people that understand that sometimes people won't turn up and don't raid. I'm not talking, this is where people go wrong. They have a roster of 16 people or 15 people, but they only want to take a certain amount, a certain 10. That's totally unfair, totally wrong, and you're a complete wanker if that is your strategy. We want to go with this ideal 10, but sometimes people don't turn up, then we'll bring somebody else in from the other remaining 6. Scrubberdubs who sit on the bench warm. Expecting people to warm the seats for you until their time to shine comes when literally... I don't know if people who do this, do you really realise how demotivating it is to notice that somebody just didn't turn up? And on Ventrilo, you can hear people go, "Hey, is Preach here?" And it's like, "No, he hasn't shown up yet." "Oh, is anybody else on?" And they just bring you in. Fuck you, right? Fuck you. I have been there. And you know what I said? "I can't raid tonight." And they're like, "What?" And because then you fuck up the whole raid. Because you'll have like 11 people online. And then one of them's a casual. You don't really want to invite him because he's not a raider. He's not interested in raiding. He's a friend of the guild. And then suddenly there's only these 9 core raiders ready to go. And they're like, where's Preach? You know, he's not online tonight. Oh, right. Who's on? "Oh, Preach is." Or whatever, he's online. Let's invite him. And as Preach is, I'm like, nah, busy. Fuck you, right? Yeah, but we can't raid without you being here. Oh, really? That's a shame. I'm really crying for you because I haven't raided in the past 3 weeks. So, fuck you. And bye-bye. That is your time to shine. It really is. It really is. Fuck those guys. Those guys who are like, we're the best friends ever in this 10-man group. There's 6 other people who are part of the raid team. I'm talking about a guild who recruits, is a raid guild, and recruits people to be raiders to bench warm. It's terrible. It's an awful fucking attitude. It's really bad. To make sure we don't waste valuable time spamming. I even said that I wouldn't mind spamming the WoW forums while progressing with more champion guild recruitment threads. I actually had offered to do some time back, but the GM said it wasn't required as we had people on the way. Never believe that. People are available when they're in your guild and online. People on their way? Fuck that. Do you know how many people I have accepted from applications who just don't show up? So annoying. And then like a week later, like, "Where are you?" And they're like, "Oh, I decided to stay in my guild." Or they just don't reply. It's so annoying. It really is the most annoying thing. People are on their way. Never. People are available or they're not. Are they in the guild right now? When did you accept them? "Oh, but he's got to wait till he gets paid and stuff." Right. Well, we need to get somebody else in because anybody... I'm not trying to be horrible here, right? I try and be as honest with you as possible because I think it's important you know how the world really works because it helps you out. If you get accepted to a guild and you literally can't afford or are unable to transfer your character or whatever you need to do for like 6 or 7 days, I am recruiting somebody else as well. Because that worries me. Is that you're either very, very young or you're incapable of arranging things. And it's not like, yeah, but you might just not have the money. Cool. You shouldn't apply to a guild unless you're able to actually be accepted. People forget that is one of the things about applying to a guild, right? Or applying to anybody. You can't apply to somebody if you are unable to join them. For whatever reason. It is not the guild's fault you haven't got any money. Why did you apply if you can't transfer. Because we've accepted you now. We've now got a raid spot. We've told people in the guild that we're going to try this new guy out. And you're like, yeah, I can't join. I can't join for another week or so, guys. Sorry. I'm recruiting somebody else because that annoys me. It means you cannot prepare yourself, let alone get ready for a raid. You cannot organize yourself properly. You shouldn't be applying to guilds if you can't transfer. That's just terrible. We are starting heroics today and we still don't have a confirmed tank. We have a possible pug that we used yesterday. That's never good, is it? A pug tank. Ugh. In addition, I offer my suggestion of making the guild applications be visible to raiders instead of just being viewable to GM and officers. That's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh for a 10-man guild that's starting heroics today. I mean, you're pretty advanced. You've killed the last boss in Mogashun on normal, which is cool. That's much further ahead than a lot of people. But still, you're pugging people, so you're not that super serious, right? Do you know what I mean? The GM shut you down, saying it's fine the way it is. It's fine with a pug tank. I really believe having other raid members scrutinise potential applicants is a great way to weed out baddies. The GM told me that he doesn't feel this is good because it gives raiders the same kind of authority. Power trip. Ooh. And consequently, the officer rank would be kind of useless to have. The other reason I'd like to have a rotating roster because my job requires me to travel. I would like a day off. Of course you would. I don't plan on leaving the guild or anything like that. I like the people. I'm always challenged with raids, but what should we do? What should we do? What should we do? Your GM needs a fucking check. He needs to check himself. He needs to get real. Okay? And especially say to him, the role of an officer is not just to choose the applicants. That is not the role of the officer. The whole guild should have the role of the officer. Do you know why? Especially in a 10-man. Because there is no way you and the GM know enough about other classes to properly scrutinise them. You cannot do it properly. You can't. You simply will not know enough information. Even I, who does this all day, would struggle to just constantly check every single aspect, whereas a guy who's played a hunter for years and years will be able to look very quickly at another hunter and notice little things. I can notice if a guy's got a fucking, I don't know, power torrent on his weapon as a melee class and go, what the fuck are you doing? Or gemmed for just ridiculous things like resilience or whatever, or PvP power. It's just craziness, absolute craziness to believe that the authority comes from being able to read guild applications. There are very few guilds in the world that even do that. Sensible guilds don't really do that unless they have very, very high level officers, and a lot of them. And even then, I think even methods can be seen by the existing raid members. It can't be seen by trials, that's it. The whole guild can read the applications. World first 25-man. Alright? So the lowest guild down, you can generally go on a forum and read guild applications. I find that quite fun sometimes to see guild applications. Always interesting to me. So I don't understand this authority thing. He needs to really let go and stop micromanaging like a complete scrub. He's going to cause you problems long term. He really is. And it sounds like you might fall into the GM spot, but while you're also looking for a day off, that's a dangerous situation to be in as well. So you need to be very careful. Any advice on this is you need to have a strong word with the GM. You need to get real and say, our authority is not derived from being able to read guild applications. And we back that up by saying we don't know enough about individual classes and specs to properly analyze these applications, and therefore we're going to be letting bad players through the cracks because we just don't know enough. GMs on a power trip need a slap. No good. No good whatsoever. It's no good. We want to get them out of there. GMs on power trips need real sort of talking down to and say, you're not the bee's knees of the world. You know what I mean? We're only starting heroics modes this week. You realise that, right? You realise we're only just starting heroic modes. That's not super, super, super advanced. It's higher than average, definitely. But it's not super, super advanced. We don't need to be running this guild like a military concentration camp in terms of authority in order to manage the guild effectively. And having pug tanks is certainly not acceptable. Your tank needs to be a rock. It needs to be a rock. It needs to be a guarantee. Ideally, if you need 2 more tanks. Because you recruit 1 tank and then you're barely cutting it. You need a backup. Ooh. That guy. That guy. I'm going to take one more question from the audience. Okay. One more question from the audience. So go ahead and post. While my dog is starting to lose his shit. That's right. He's losing everything he owns. He's ready for his walk. So I hope that helps you guys out. We're thinking of having well, I'm thinking anyway. I haven't told Ghosty yet. But of having a Halloween special Not this web show, but the web show after. We'll be slightly after Halloween, but I kind of think he wants to dress up anyway. He loves that shit. And I haven't dressed up for Halloween in ages, so maybe we can do something scary on the web show. I don't know. We'll have an idea on that as well. Right. Whoa. Double copy and paste. I'm going to go with Titches. I think Firestar gets a lot of questions in. Preach, I started a guild with about 4 other friends to try and get a 10-man raid guild going. Good on you. I've only been trying to recruit. We haven't got anyone to raid. Everyone else seems okay not raiding, but I want to raid. What should I do? Because I want to make my real-life friends mad, but I want to raid. You're in a situation which is pretty common. Hey guys, we're a new guild starting up. You can't say much more than that. Intending to raid. I can't imagine anything more unappealing than a guild that has just been set up. In fact, only yesterday I was quite open in saying that one of the things I look for in a guild and recommend anybody who follows my channel to do is to look for a guild that has been around for years. New guilds obviously can't attest to that. The hard part is getting started. You're getting started in a world that is full of guilds, and with Mr. Pandaria, with people losing players left and right, they're being soaked up. All these players who are potentially your recruits are being soaked up into the ethos of the existing guilds. As a new guild, you're likely to attract people who are guild hoppers or not very good players or just want to be in a guild, don't want to be... It's like you're almost creating a situation where you're the next step up from the guilds who spam you at level 1 or any level in between that just to make money out of the guild bank thing. You know the guilds. Anybody who's been ungilded for more than 10 minutes, I'm sure, has received some sort of guild invite from random universe destroyers or global attack squad or whatever it might be. You're now become looking like the next step up, which is not where you want to be, because that's not your genuine intention. However, you will appear to be like that. I'm not suggesting you are that guild. I'm suggesting that that's what you will appear to be. And appearance is everything. Marketing is everything. How do you appear to be? How do you sell yourself? Which is what you need to do now, is work on a way to sell yourself. I wouldn't give up, but it's going to be a difficult process. It's going to be a process you're going to have to work on. Your IRL friends are going to have to work to play together as well. More than likely, if they're new to the game, I'm not sure if they are, maybe you can let me know in the chat, is if they're new to the game, I would imagine at best 50% of the 4 of you, so 2, will actually make it into a raiding situation where they are viable. I've got some, over the years I've made some amazing gaming friends, from professional players to players who should be professionals, who are downright bloodthirsty and awesome. And I've played with them, and in certain types of games they've crapped on me. I'm certainly not a god at every single game, and I'm not a god at WoW either. I'm just generally really quite okay at WoW, and good in other games. And certain games I excel, certain games we fall down. That's just the way of things. In some games, especially third-person shooters, I'm not a fan of third-person shooters. But some people are awesome at third-person shooters and could kick my ass any day of the week. Although I enjoy them, I'm not great at third-person shooters. I don't like the third-person view. Some games I do, some games I don't. In general, I don't. I don't enjoy them. But third-person is like, FPS, I'm fine. I don't play them regularly enough, but I think people who watched the Gotham City Imposters video saw that was the first time I'd logged that game. For 2 rounds, I was terrible. By the 3rd round, I was doing much better. By the 4th round, I almost killed the law, which was like magical. I get better at them very quickly. I just don't play them enough. People will roll into your guild intending to raid as RL friends. It's going to be the best thing ever, right? It's the dream. We're going to play all together, all mates. It's going to be awesome. I would be surprised to see that once you actually get into a raid and they feel what it's like, is that they get better. Like I say, these players who crapped on me in third-person games came to one of my raids and they were terrible. They had no idea about the mechanics of doing proper DPS. In many ways, a lot of dedicated PvPers struggle with that transition too. They PvP really heavily and live in this cloud that PvE is easy mode. We've all seen it. But of course, they've never really tried PvE properly. They might do looking for aid and claim PvE is easy. Well, sure, yeah, looking for aid is easy. And then we've invited them to the guild. Done this a number of occasions. We've invited many top-level PvPers to our guild, and they've been awful. They just don't know the mechanics and the way of producing top-level DPS. They don't understand how to do it. And they struggle, and ultimately they tend to quit or be kicked. And I've kicked several of them. It's tricky. I would try and join, either try and make a few pugs and get your name established. Get that kill under your belt. Try and find some regular pugs. It's going to be a long road if you want to be in command. If you feel like you want to be in command, and try and keep your RL friends close. You need 6 people. You can set something up there. You can spam local, trying to get some people to come. You'll probably fill the raid up pretty quickly. Or try and get regular people. Try a few things like that. It might take a few weeks before you get a sort of decent 10. It could take a few weeks. Be prepared to wipe a lot. Be prepared for drama. But warn your RL friends beforehand. One of the most important things about being a raid leader is making sure people are aware of what's happening. Communication is everything. And so when that happens, it might take a few weeks, you might start getting a steady 10 people. Then they might start joining the guild. And then you'll get your name up and you'll move away from this image of being the next step up. And then you could be a guild that has kills under its belt. Because people won't join a guild that doesn't have kills under its belt. Why would they? You're not killing anything. Remember, a lot of people are motivated by loot. If they don't see an instant attraction towards loot, they're not going to join you. That's what I do. If that's not going to work, then I would suggest you go off and raid on your own and bite the bullet and do it, if that's the situation. Decide what you want to do. Are you prepared for a long, hard road that might have a better payoff with you being GM, playing with 4 RL friends, potentially, and just generally moving at your own pace as you decide? Or are you ready to let them go and move on? Do you not see a future with those guys? You have to ask yourself those 2 questions, and whichever the answer is, you'll know what to do. And then just start that path. That's what I recommend. Next question. Next question, anybody? We're a new level 1 guild. We want to start raiding very soon. We have 3 bank tabs. You know the guilds, right? You've been there before. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Preach, what went on with the feral gameplay video? It was just a massive rant. All the other gameplay videos had like tips and tricks in action. All he did was go on about Shred not being a good mechanic. Yeah, because that's just how I felt about it. Videos like that are not exactly what people expect. I know people want to see me having an enjoyable time and trying to explain how to do various things. One thing about the feral druid was that there is very little to explain about the feral druid. You keep on bleeds, you keep your combo points up, and you keep your bleeds on and ferocious bite below 25%. You'll do 90% of your maximum damage. In AoE situations, you're going to thrash and swipe. Keep savage roaring. I can bash that out in about 3 minutes. But ultimately, there's a higher purpose and problem with the feral druid, which is what I felt was far more important to be discussed. With those kind of videos, I will readdress them in the future. Those are videos I have a kind of list of things that I want to look at again. Currently on that list are Feral Druid. I want to revisit the Feral Druid and maybe do something a little bit special with it. I kind of suspect, this has probably already been done, but a Feral Druid is actually one of the classes that can do full DPS and completely heal a heroic, making it a essentially 5 DPS run, including the tanks doing massive amounts of damage. I'm pretty sure a Feral Druid can easily pull that off, especially with the I forgot the spell now. Dreamer Scenarius ability. I didn't want to rant, but I needed to raise this issue because as I do for each video, people see the finished product, which is usually one heroic run that I've chosen. I do about 3 or 4. I do about 3 or 4 heroics. Sometimes, like in the case of the Moonkin, I did 6 heroics on that dungeon, on that class, because I wanted to practice with it. And I record. This is how the process works for doing one of the gameplay videos. Someone said to me, "How can you record?" I get emails from some of the members of the other networks. It's like, "How are you recording 8 videos in a day?" Which is what I did with the Druid video. How are you doing that? I'm actually not recording 8 videos in a day. I'm actually recording around 24 videos in a day. I release 8 from that. What I do, this is my process when I create a class guide, okay? I go into it with the intention of, 1, excitement, because I love playing all the different classes in World of Warcraft. I really, really, truly do. That is without a question, and that comes across in the videos. Some classes less than others, but that's natural. That's okay. So 1, excitement about revisiting a class maybe I haven't played for a while, like the Feral Druid. I haven't played it since I did some beta stuff briefly, and before that, not for a while. I generally rolled as Moonkin during Cataclysm. I enjoyed it a lot more. So revisiting, I get a little bit of excitement. I then need to do a lot of reading. So before I do my reading, I trust myself a little bit I log the character, I set my keybinds up, and I feel like I'm ready to go. I will queue for a heroic. That usually takes me about 20 minutes. So I'll then jump onto forums and I'll start browsing maybe 5 or 6 different websites, just reading about stuff, which is when I came across the stuff about Heart of the Wild and the casting mechanics and all that stuff. And I was reading that, I was getting confused. And what I do with the first talent build when I roll a class that I'm about to do a guide on is I choose from the talents the things I think are best. I don't read them. I don't read a site that sort of suggests do this. I read what I think would be best. So I see something like Heart of the Wild while I'll be casting Wrath, I instantly dismiss it. I then look at things like Nature's Vigil or Dream of Cenarius, and I rolled with Nature's Vigil. It seemed the common sense choice to me for a timed cooldown, right? So I then do a heroic. I go in, I've read some information, but I'm still sticking with the talent build that I originally started with. And then I roll with it, and I commentate over that. On a rare occasion, I'm really, really happy with the first commentary I do. And the talents I choose, purely from experience and what I think would be the best, are correct. And that video is done. That is what we call the best day ever, right? That is really my best day. I do the talents. I used to do it a different way. I used to do the talents first, while queuing for a heroic, the talents portions of the videos. And then I would do the heroic straight after. Nowadays, I play the class and then I do the talents because it gives me more insight into how these talents are really interacting and synergizing together. On a very, 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 very good day, and it hasn't happened so yet, Mr. Pandaria, except with the Prot Warrior, which I knew I was going to have a decent time with that because of my experience. And all the Warrior videos, essentially, I did first time. They were a very easy day for me. Was do the dungeon. Then I come out and I read a little bit more. And then I might take the talents that are suggested by a website, and I'll reforge accordingly again. And then I will jump into another dungeon. And while doing that, I'm doing more reading. And then hopefully in the next heroic, the heroic after, or at worst the 4th heroic. At worst case scenario, I'm going to do 4 heroics. All the time I'm recording them, and I'm doing audio commentary over the top. So for every video you see, there might be 3 versions of what that video could have been like. From that, I choose the video that I think is most representative. And with the Feral Druid in particular, which is what your question was, Sholomance was the worst time for the Feral Druid for me. Because I had a tank that not only didn't understand the concept of standing still, but also did not understand... also, the bosses and mobs in there were very much movement orientated. So we had Gandling, who was moving a hell of a lot, Lillian Vass, who moves in all sorts of crazy directions. And I came into that dungeon as Rattlegore died. I got invited, but they had pulled it, so it's that situation where you're waiting outside the dungeon and you can't teleport in. So in fact, that video only had 2 bosses. But those 2 bosses frustrated the shit out of me. I was so angry while I was doing it because people watch my videos for different reasons. One, some of them watch them for commentary, and some people won't take my videos seriously unless I am dominating the DPS. They're like, oh my god, look what he's doing with the Feral Druid. I understand that, I get that. It's not what I'm trying to demonstrate, but that's why the damage meter is there, and why I have MSBT. When I raid, I don't use that scrolling text. I don't use it. It fills my screen. It's spammy. I don't like it. I'm not interested in what my damage numbers are. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I'm doing the rotation and using my priority system correctly, the damage will be there at the end. So I don't use that. I do that for you guys. I added that in so you guys could see numbers. Because people like to see numbers, right? So I'm rolling in. And in Sholomance, I just got so angry and frustrated. And that's good content for a different reason. That is a problem with this class. And it is a problem with the class. It's all very well and good saying you can shred or mangle. Well, that's fine, but you don't often realise where things are switching around, especially Lillian Vass, who's undead and really small. To keep behind a really small undead female is not easy, especially with all sorts of spell effects going on, and it just creates an issue that class shouldn't have to suffer from. And your energy is building up and all sorts of stuff. But then I add that to a class to revisit, and I watch the forums to see if any changes will occur. So I've got things like Moonkins on there, Shadow Priest I want to revisit. All the priests, in fact, I want to revisit. I think I've got them all on the list. And there was another one as well that I've done that I wasn't 100% with. I can't remember what it is. It's on my list somewhere. That I'm just... Sub-Rogue. Sub-Rogue. That was right. Sub-Rogue. I didn't even release the Sub-Rogue gameplay. I just wasn't happy with it. I wasn't happy with it. So that's the kind of thing... That's the way my videos are produced. Some people say it's overkill. Especially when I'm dribbling at sort of 1 AM, like most nights this week, and the last 2 weeks where I'm like, blah, 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 and Emma's already asleep, and I come to bed after she's been asleep and get up before she wakes up, all that kind of crap. that I'm doing at the moment to get the guides out, but it's worth it in the end to be someone posted on, I think, on the daily, and that's the kind of content that really applies to me, is they're a rep paladin looking for a guide, and they couldn't find any guides that were as detailed and easy to navigate as mine. And said it's great for Preach, bad for me as a rep paladin because the rep paladin guide isn't done yet. That's why it's worth me recording 4 audio tracks and 4 heroics, and then picking what I'm choosing out of that. So that's the answer to your question. Okay, yeah, it's an hour and 5 minutes. I'm done. I'm going to take Ben for a walk. I'll take this last question. Why the hell not? Because I kind of went into a rant there. DKs are being done this week. I will get to everything as soon as possible, guys. The only thing that's limiting me now is my ability to conscientiously have time to do it. Like I said, I've got 9 projects going on at the moment. I'm getting through them as fast as I possibly can. I mean, come on, I released 4 videos yesterday, 6 the day before. The content's coming, guys. That's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work. I'm doing everything I possibly can. Another question. I'm a very good player, not in my words, but I have like a char, and I enjoy being very good at the class that I'm playing. As soon as I feel I'm doing best, I start to get... But okay, sorry. I'm just trying to get it. I'm a very good player, not my words, but when you have a char and you start to feel like you're maximising the potential of that character, you start getting bored. But I enjoy raiding. Do you have any tips on not getting bored with a class? And it's like, you know, how to address this subject, really. I kind of understand what you're saying, and I know a lot of people that do that. I've never met anybody who's done that who's really maxed a class. It's sort of the illusion of maxing, like topping DPS meters. One of the things we've always discussed over the course of the guides and the dailies for the last 12 months or so has been, it's very easy to be successful if everybody around you is not. Alright? So, I have never seen anybody who's been what I call a flavour of the month reroller reroll when they truly max the class. And I would suggest that, or I would put to you that I've never, I'm not going to say never, I have played with some people who believed they maxed the class and they hadn't. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who's skill capped. I think skill capped is a phrase that's thrown around far too often. If people were skill capped, then there would be a balance and everybody would draw all the time. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Everybody's DPS would be equal. Everybody's DPS is not equal in any situation. I would try and maybe... I would suggest, first of all, you watch a couple of my advanced things about maxing DPS and so on and so forth, or maxing healing, especially DPS. DPS, people will hate me saying this, and I get lots of things saying, you're wrong. I'm not wrong on this subject. The hardest classes to really master are DPS classes. Really are. Healing could be on and off sometimes. You can have a relaxing day, you can have a hard day, and generally you do okay as a healer. Tanking right now is sort of trivial, except for a couple of bosses in Mr. Pandaria. They're trying to bring tanking skill back, which is nice to see. But to get absolute maximum potential out of your class, you need to be DPSing. People feel DPS has this sort of learning curve that just starts low and then rises very rapidly as you start to understand more about the game. And so people think, I'm going to roll DPS. It's the safe choice. The healer and tank have hard choices, right? No, they don't. They really don't. And I always recommend you try it out. But DPSs can relax, get away with more things. Then you start to understand a little bit more about how the mechanics work. And the line starts to rise. And it gets much more difficult to increase your ability to play that class. It really is a key thing, is to understand that there is always something you can be doing better, and when you realize that and you start to see the areas in which you can improve, is you will definitely start to enjoy that class a lot more, a hell of a lot more, and you will never become bored. You'll never become bored if you're always reaching further. If you're always trying to reach that extra step, you're never going to become bored, because it's so difficult to get this last 10%. As I just said about the Feral Druid, I can do a very basic guide that will achieve people to get 90% of the DPS out of a Feral Druid, right? The potential. That extra 10%, you will never get bored trying to reach it, because every single percent is like 10-mile run, and you've got to just go that extra little mile to get there, and you've got to really think about what you're doing. You'll never get bored. If you are in deep consideration about how to push yourself on a specific boss, you will either be somebody who goes, it's just a game, I don't care. Reroll all you want. Or you will say, I could do more here. I can do more. I know I can do more. I fucked that up. That's the most important thing. I fucked that up at that point in the fight. I could have done a lot more. And next week, I'm going to not fuck that up. And then you're going to fuck something else up. And you're like, oh, so I now need to work on this. I could do this swap better. That was a really poor time to use that cooldown or to use that spell. I should have used this. All these things add up. And then suddenly, happened to me, man. It happened to me on several occasions. Is you check that world of logs after your raid, and right next to your name is a number 1. And that is a fucking feeling that I cannot explain. The first time I saw that, even me, after playing for 7 years, or whatever, however long it's been, when I looked at that world of logs and I saw my name, number 1, screenshotted, and I don't screenshot shit. I never take screenshots unless it's hilarious. When I saw that, I was like, I did it. Holy shit. And I did it on progress as well. I did it on progress, exactly when it counted. When you need to be number 1 in the world isn't 8 weeks after you've killed the boss. Fuck people who are stacking ridiculous... I know guys who completely built their character around Ultraxion based on having specific buffs and requesting things like Dark Intent. Oh my god. I've built my character around Dark Intent. I need Dark Intent. Otherwise I can't do this. And then getting world first on Ultraxion. 12 weeks after that content's been out. It's useless. Pulling world first during progress when people are really, really trying and it's important that you do the best you can, that's when it fucking counts. And that is a feeling that you won't copy. Okay. Ooh, we are going to finish now. I've talked for a long time. For those of you who hadn't seen the beginning of this, the VOD will be up on Twitch in usually about 10-15 minutes after I finish the stream. Ghost is streaming tonight, so in about probably an hour or so you're going to see the stream come back up, and Ghosty will be with you for the rest of the evening. They're going to be raiding, so say hello to him for me. I'm going to take it easy tonight. As I said, I'm taking a break this evening and then cracking on tomorrow with more guides coming out for you guys. I'll try and get the Holy Priest guide up. It's on my PC. I've played it for you guys. It exists. It just won't be accepted by YouTube, unfortunately. So I will do that for you guys, okay? Tomorrow is going to be another sort of question time. Tomorrow is going to be like question time plus to get every question out before the weekend, because, of course, Friday is subscriber stories. All your drama, all your interesting stories. Every single one of you in this chat right now has a story to tell of something fun and interesting. Doesn't even have to be WoW related. I just want to hear your stories, and I will obviously cloud your names. Send them to preachgame@gmail.com. So you have a great evening, guys. Take it easy, and I will see you tomorrow. I will let you know about when my UI is available for upload too. No problem. Bye.